Okay, greetings, boys and girls. It's Mr. K, welcoming you to another distance learning task. Hope you guys are doing great. Weather's been really nice. May and June are upon us, and I gotta say, it's probably my favorite time of the year. Weather breaks, get to be outside and do all sorts of fun things. Although this year will be a little limited by what we can do, but that's okay. We'll figure things out. Okay, so 8th grade, this is going to be another optical art lesson. And this particular lesson is going to be stretched over a couple of days. Okay, so this is kind of a detailed diagram here that I'm going to teach to you in the coming moments. And there's so much detail, and my video will probably approach 20 minutes or so. So I'm actually going to give you 2 days to work on this. Because I think when we put the distance learning model together, we had all agreed, teachers and administrators alike, we had agreed that, maybe like 25 minutes a day per class. So you'll probably need a good 20 minutes or so to watch this video. And then by the time you rewind it and, rewatch it and do your drawing and this and that and the other, it's going to take a couple of days. So I'm going to give you, let's see, today is what, Tuesday? So I'm going to give you the rest of today because I know it's later in the day. And I'm going to give you all day on Wednesday to work on this diagram. And then Thursday we will polish it up, and by Thursday you should probably start to see the optical illusion portion to the art. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it's going to be just yet. Okay, all I'm going to say is that optical art plays tricks on your eyes, as you remember from the pieces we did earlier in the year. And this is going to be no exception to that rule. This is going to challenge your eyesight to identify what it is, because you're going to look at it and you're going to say, that looks like one thing, but when I adapt it or change it slightly, it looks like an entirely different creation. Okay, and that's what optical art does. It kind of makes you pause and ask yourself the question, am I really seeing what I think I'm seeing, if that makes sense. Okay, so here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a pencil. You'll probably need an eraser. I know I will. And you'll need some type of a measuring device or a ruler. Okay, I don't know if you guys have protractors from math class available, but there is a basic inch ruler down here. Looks like about 6 inches or so. Yeah, I don't have my glasses on, but looks like 6 inches. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. My cheat sheet is up in front of me, so I'm going to be referring to that. It took me a little while to figure out the dimensions to suit our needs, because I pulled the image off of the internet and then I had to adapt it for our particular situation here. So this is a basic sheet of paper. If you have 8.5 by 11 or 9 by 12, this is good. So mine is 9 by 12. Okay. And if you don't have 9 by 12, if yours is a little smaller, it should still work out. Just follow the measurements as closely as you can, and if you have to cheat a little bit in some certain areas, that's okay. It doesn't have to be exact, but I think the more true to what I do, the better the optical illusion shall be. Okay, so let's get started. All right, my first measurement is going to be 4 inches over from the left. So if you remember, left is marked with my L shape between my index finger and my thumb, and I'm going to come over 4 inches, and I'm going to make a little dash mark. 4 inches, okay? And as the carpenter that I taught you about, Bob Vila, used to say, measure twice in order to cut once. So I'm going to measure twice, but instead of cutting, we're going to draw a straight line. So I came over 4 inches from the left. And I'm going to draw a line straight down, but I'm not going to press super hard on that line because portions of it will need erased. Okay? All right, let me slide that paper over just a little bit. I'm keeping an eye on the time. We're at about 5 minutes or so. I don't want to get too much longer than 20, 22 minutes or so, somewhere in that ballpark. Okay, so I'm going to come over 1 inch from my right. So what I'm going to do is, let me use this, hang on. Let me, I got 2 pieces of paper together, because I use one as kind of like a, I don't know, a blotter, or it provides a little extra cushion, if you will, for the paper on top. I just always like having a paper underneath. I don't know, I'm strange like that. So I'm coming over 1 inch. 1 inch. Okay, there's my 1 inch mark in the very corner here of the video screen. I think you can see it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide my ruler more to the top. I'm filming today with my cell phone. I cannot tell you how many different ways I've tried to film for you guys throughout this distance learning program. And they all have their strengths and they all have their weaknesses, trust me. So there's my 1 inch line. Okay, so I came over 4 inches on this side and 1 inch on this side. Okay, and I didn't press too hard on either line because we're going to erase portions of it. Okay. All right, now let me see here. I'm going to give myself just a light little letter B down here in the corner. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's going to be code for bottom of the paper. Because what we're going to do is we're going to spin the paper like a 90-degree turn to the left. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is, see, now the letter B is pointing to my right. So make sure your little letter B is pointing to your right. Okay. All right, I'm going to come up 1 inch from the bottom. Okay. So there's a 1 inch mark there. Bob Vila says measure twice if you want a straight line. So there's my second little mark there. Okay. I'm not going to make this line go the length of the paper. I'm going to stay within the confines of this box that we've just created. So all I'm going to do is draw a bottom edge here, 1 inch up from the letter B side. Boom, there we go. Okay, and while I'm at it on this side with my paper turned, I'm going to erase this little extra line here. I don't think we need it anymore. I'm going to erase that little dash mark. Slide it down here. I'm going to erase this little piece right here. Okay. Oops, sorry, something's shaking on my table. Okay. All right, now I'm going to turn it back to the original form. The letter B is still down here. And you know what? Just for good measure, I'm going to put a letter T there for top. Okay. All right, so I don't care which way you turn this. I'm going to turn it so that the T is to the right. And from this side, okay, so here was the original form, and I rotated it this way. So the letter T, top, is to my right. And we're going to come down 2 inches this time. Okay, so, I don't know, can you see my ruler? There, I think you can. Okay, so I'm coming down 2 inches on this side. Let me slide my ruler up. Oh, hang on, let me put my paper back together. Okay, and then I'm going to come down 2 inches on this side, and you guessed it, we're going to connect those 2 dashes within the confines of our box. Okay. Before I turn it back to its original form, let me erase the extra line here that we no longer need. Clean it up as best I can. I'm going to leave the letter T, and I'm going to leave the letter B. Okay, so boom, we got a nice little box here. Okay, and I'll explain what's going to happen, you know, as we progress further on down the road. Okay, so if you double check these lines, top and bottom, they should be about 7 inches. Okay, so there's 7 inches there. It might not be exact. It's cool. And there's about 7 inches there. Okay? All right. Let me see. We're about 10 minutes in or so. So we're going to create some stripes within this box here. And in order to do that, we're going to create a pattern of measurements. And the pattern of measurement is going to be 1 inch, half an inch, 1 inch, half an inch, 1 inch, half an inch, so on and so forth. That is hard to say. It's like a tongue twister, so I'm not going to say it again. Okay? But what I am going to do is put the 0 edge of my ruler to the left side and watch what I do here at the top. Okay, so what did I say? 1 inch. And then I'm going to slide my ruler. Half inch. And then I'm going to slide my ruler 1 inch. See, what I keep doing is I keep sliding the 0 corner of my ruler up against the most recent mark that I make. So there's half inch. Here comes 1 inch. Half of an inch. What's next, people? 1 inch. I sort of missed that, asking questions during class. Half of an inch. And then this last area should be roughly an inch, and guess what? It is. Excellent. Okay. What does Bob Vila say? Someone would raise their hand and they would say, measure twice in order to cut once. Or in our case, make a straight line. So if my health is good, which it's been pretty okay lately, there's an inch there. I'm going to build an extension to my outdoor deck this summer. That's one of my summertime goals. So trust me, I'll be doing a ton of measurement. Here comes 1 inch. And you better believe if I'm cutting a straight piece of lumber, and it's a very lengthy piece, I'm going to be measuring twice in order to make a straight line. Then lots of times if you measure a long piece of lumber, there's a thing called a chalk line. Many of you probably come from carpenter families and you know what a chalk line is. So the chalk line snaps a straight line between two measurements on a large piece of lumber. There's 1 inch. Here goes half of an inch. And then we should have roughly, Mr. K screwed up, hang on. Okay, 1 inch, half of an inch, 1 inch, half of an inch, 1 inch, half of an inch, 1 inch, half. And then this should be about an inch here, but yeah, okay, it's not too bad. So Mr. K didn't screw up as badly as he thought. And trust me, I'm not afraid to say when I screw up. And nor should you be, because that's a part of being human. And if you do make a mistake, you say, I screwed up. I'm sorry. I'll try to do better. All right, so time check. 14 and a half minutes, probably just enough time for us to connect these dash marks here. Okay, so remember the pattern. We came over 1 inch, half of an inch, 1 inch, half inch, 1 inch, half inch, 1 inch, half inch, 1 inch. Okay, same goes up here. So guess what? Our lines should be pretty straight. They might not be perfect. Let me see, how am I going to connect these lines? Do I want them connected this way? I'm just thinking of my comfort level. Or this way or diagonal. Let's see. I don't know. Let's go like this. I sort of turned it like T to the left a little bit. Okay, so hang on. Let me put I'm gonna put my eyeglasses on, my cheaters. Oh, sorry, I bumped the camera. Gosh, this video doesn't want to cooperate, but guess what? We're gonna keep plowing through. Bam, there's one line. Pretty straight. Okay. Make sure my camera's back steady. Sorry to give you butterflies in your stomach like you're riding a roller coaster. Okay, there's my 1/2 inch. Not too shabby. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Let's see how this one looks. Not too bad. I keep turning it right side up just to double check the lines as I connect them. Okay. So remember, you guys are going to have 2 days to work on this because this is a lengthy video. And, you know, gosh, takes a little effort, I would imagine, to watch the video and then put into action what we're doing here. I've taken a few like online college classes. It's been years, but I can appreciate what you kiddos are doing. It's a lot of work. That's why I say to you quite often that I'm proud of you. And I hope you guys took advantage of that catch-up day, which was what? Yesterday, Monday. There's my last line here. Okay. Not too shabby, not too bad. All right, so let's see. Just to review, what did I say? 7 inches, 7 inches. Okay, top and bottom. In fact, I'm going to write just a little reminder. There's 7 inches at the bottom. 7 inches at the top. And I want to say 6 inches when you turn the paper sideways. Let's double check it. Yep. About 6 inches here. And should be about 6 inches there. It is. Okay. Let me tap that together. That was a little bit of work. But I can assure you it's going to look really, really cool. Moving forward, if you have any type of coloring materials, markers probably be best, or a crayon would work. You're really only going to need 2 colors. You can use more than 2 colors. That would be fine. You'll figure this out as we move forward. But 2 colors is really all you need. And if you don't have anything with which to color, your pencil can put in some values. There would have to be a darker value, almost like a black, and then a lighter value with your pencil easing up on the pressure, which would be a gray. Okay, so let's see. This is Tuesday. It's late in the day on Tuesday, so you have the rest of today, late in the school day is what I should say. So you have the rest of today and all day Wednesday to make your paper look like mine. All right, I'll post this to Google Classroom, and then tomorrow, which is Wednesday, I will post a little reminder. 8th graders, you have all day today to work on your op art diagram. All right, boys and girls, happy drawing. I hope you're getting outside too to keep your sanity. I know I do that too. I'll take a little break from my artwork and I'll go outside and just, breathe the fresh air, and it revitalizes and refreshes me. So don't stay in house. Don't stay in the house all day. Get outside and be productive. And I'm sure you kiddos are doing that. Okay. Thank you. We will talk very, very soon. Bye now.